Sorry for the lack of a blog over the past couple of weeks. It's the usual reason. I honestly did not have all that much to talk about. This week, though, I do have a few things on my mind, and I'm hoping to have another blog up by this Sunday, or maybe early next week, as I have a few additional topics I want to talk about, but I don't feel like making this blog over 35 minutes long, like my last one. As it stands, I'll get to the point for this week, and I'll keep it nice and short as a result. First, I'm going to touch upon a couple of Kickstarters. If you happen to have backed the Battletech computer game Kickstarter a few years ago, it's finally available in beta mode, which came out, I believe, on June 1st. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. I gave it a shot, tried it a couple of times, and other than trying to get past a few annoying issues with the camera angles, trying to get them to work the way I wanted them to, I didn't have any serious problems with it. Well, with the exception that I own a near top line computer. Even with this, I found the game to still be a little bit choppy here and there. It's probably settings, so I just have to do a little bit of work on tweaking it, which I'll get around to eventually. Now note that this is only the beta. The final game is not finished yet, but hopefully that won't be too long before the final product is available for those of you who didn't back the beta part of this Kickstarter. It will have an actual campaign to it, and there will be player versus player, but don't expect me to play in that. I really am not a fan of PvP, and if you want to know why, simply ask, I'll tell you. The other Kickstarter is called Metal Dawn. This is essentially a robot apocalypse board game, and it has been successfully funded when I first saw it. By the time you read or watch this, more than likely it'll have ended, as right now there are only 25 hours left in the campaign. If you want to check it out, just click on the link that I provided in the actual blog part, not the video. Now, if I had a little bit of spare cash, I would have backed this project, but as it stands, I'm a little strapped. Say thanks to the the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo for that. Always cost me a fortune. Now, one of the other reasons why I decided I wanted to talk about Kickstarters is I am seriously considering making a prototype game. It's something that I've been thinking about for a couple of years now, and I even mentioned it in passing to Michael Varhola last year when I was in Houston. Now, note, that was Houston Comic Palooza 2016, not this year since I couldn't make it. I'm thinking of a post-apocalyptic game, which is set up very similar in manner to a game called Talisman, which a lot of you may have played, and another one called RuneQuest. It combines aspects from both of these games. I'm looking at making it as simple as I possibly can, following the Talisman rules, and that game is very easy to learn, and maybe incorporating some of the ideas that are in Runebound. Now, that game can be a little bit complex and hard to play sometimes, but it's still an awesome game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking to borrow from it. Both games have exploration, combat, and challenges. Each game has the players using a variety of different characters, typically only one at a time, unless you want to play multiple characters, and I don't see why you can't. And these characters can gain equipment, spells, followers, and so on. Anything just to make your character more powerful, including going up in level. I want to start putting together something like this, which will have the exploration side, but various locations, which are prominent in both games, will have either fixed encounters, like many of the locations in Talisman, where you can roll to see what occurs, or in Runebound, where you have an encounter which is already predetermined based on your level, or cards with events and so forth which can be drawn, again like Talisman. Well, not just events, but monsters, potential for followers, events, so on and so forth. I want to have several events, such as well as things like animals, humans, both normal and mutated, of course. And I would also like to see mutations used in the game the way spells are used in Talisman. Although these mutations will probably be permanent, although you never know what will happen. Depends on how design and playtesting goes. The board itself, I see it covering North America, including probably Canada and Mexico. And have it split into either states or provinces or into specific regions like the Pacific Northwest, the desert, the Northeast, so on and so forth. Now, this could have a movement system which is similar to that found in Roombound, where you roll dice, which will come up with trees, mountains, plains, and stuff like that. Or just simply roll the dice and you choose where you go, just like you do in Talisman. Now, this is a prototype, and it will be constructed by using tons of stolen, yes, you heard right, images from online. After all, this game will never be used by anybody but me or anyone that I actually choose to play it with, or maybe use as playtesters, which would probably just be local people. So, if it turns out to be good, and if it ever goes to Kickstarter and then into production, because if I get lucky enough and it actually succeeds, I'll end up hiring artists to do the work for the game. So it will have all its original artwork. Now, that's about the work that I was considering doing. Nothing new on any of the various projects I had planned for RPGs, though. Although, that could change, and I'll touch upon that more in the future, maybe even Sunday or next week when I talk about the Starfinder and so on and so forth. Sorry, I can't talk today. Sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm kind of getting off topic here. One thing, though, I kind of forgot about it, is I did get around to dividing up all the creatures I wrote up from the various media sources into types. All 300 of them. So the next part of that little project is I have to take the 218 New Mutant Monday creatures I wrote up and treat them to the same division into types. Furthermore, I printed out all the rules covering the various types and subtypes. So if I decide I will put the time and effort into converting them to Starfinder, aka Pathfinder, it'll make my life a lot easier. And after seeing First Contact for Starfinder, which I'll again talk about more on my next blog, I may end up doing it because the creatures are less stat heavy than they are in the basic Pathfinder game. That's going to make things a lot easier for me. Now, speaking of Starfinder, I did post on Facebook earlier this week 5 major changes or differences between both Starfinder and Pathfinder. You can find that link in the actual physical portion of this blog. And again, I plan on talking more about other links I shared over the past couple of weeks on my next blog when it comes to Starfinder. So, something to look forward to. I wonder what else we can expect. No matter, I'm so damn eager to get my hands on this monster. It's going to be a great game, at least I hope it is. And, like I said, I plan on talking about Starfinder in more depth when I continue with my next blog. Now, there is a chance I might have touched upon this in the past, but after reading a few articles online over the past couple of weeks, I figured I'd bring it up again. A friend of mine once said he did not want to meet anyone whom he admired for the simple fact they might be assholes, and it would end up ruining the mental image of that particular person. Sadly, I fully understand this now, and I have for a couple of years. For the most part, the celebrities I've met over the years have been pretty cool people. Some really stood out, while others were just average. And then some were just plain dickheads. This was really disheartening to encounter, and as my friend said it, you have a mental image of the person, and when you turn out to be an asshole, it destroys that image and you're left heartbroken. This was a case with Gil Gerard. He played Buck Rogers when I was growing up, and he was my hero. I really looked up to him. When I finally had a chance to meet him, the only impression I got from him was that of a gritty prick who used the fact that he was my hero growing up against me, and ended up not even giving me the correct change when I reluctantly purchased a photo with him. Now, I say reluctantly because I paid for a photo of him, and then I asked to get one with him, and he wanted to charge me more. So, needless to say, I was pretty unimpressed and very disappointed. And then there were the encounters with quite a few members of Star Trek The Next Generation. Jonathan Frakes. Cold fucking asshole who didn't give a fuck about you unless you were there paying him money. Marina Sirtis. She I had expected to be nice, but she was downright insulting. Then there was Michael Dorn. He was cold, but nowhere near as bad as Frakes. Brent Spiner, likewise the same thing, very cold. Even LeVar Burton. All of them were cold. They all left me with a bad taste in my mouth and the impression that they were only there to make money. They didn't give a damn about the people who made them famous. So, you know what? I gave up after those guys. I didn't bother trying to meet any of the other cast members because I was feeling very angry and highly disappointed all at once. But, on the upside, you get guys like Michael Rooker, Lee Majors, Tia Carrera, Ray Parks, Paul McGillian, John Rhys Davies, and quite a few others. They more than made up for the few assholes I had encountered. I could tell you stories about that, and just like the last couple of times, if you ever want to hear any of them, feel free to ask me, and I will be more than happy to relate. Needless to say, though, I had seriously good encounters with all those people I just mentioned. So, for those of you who take the time to meet celebrities at the various expos and conventions, I hope that you have or have had great encounters and never had to deal with that kind of stuff. Nothing makes an expo or convention really bad, except when you have to deal with somebody who's a prick. And that's it, folks. Until next time, stay happy and continue enjoying summer, since today is the official first day of summer. Well, it's officially the first day of summer when I made this video and I posted the blog. But depending on when you get around to it, summer is probably going to be well into the first couple of weeks or more. Take care, folks, and thanks for watching.